Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education, Supervisor of English. Interview question number 1. And here is a question that is frequently asked. The school initiates a new reading program. How do you evaluate its effectiveness? There are many acceptable answers to this question, but here are just a few possible responses. Most importantly, look at the success students are having in reading. First, you want to have some baseline data before starting the program, then compare the reading scores after completion of the program to the baseline data. Next up, look for the cost effectiveness of the program. For example, you wouldn't want to be spending a large portion of the department's money on a reading program that provides only minimal gain. Third on the list, distribute surveys to your staff members. In the surveys, ask teachers and related personnel what do they think about the program's overall effectiveness. Ask open-ended questions and use Likert scales. Fourth, talk to the parents and seek their opinions. In general, as an administrator, you want to involve parents in decision making whenever possible. It's important to have transparency within the program. And lastly, look to see if the program will have a long-term impact. Just because a program shows initial success, that does not mean the program will be a positive, long-lasting effect. And here's a quick tip to take with you to the interview. Study, 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 and study some more. If you can, bring a small note card around with you and use that to study. Interview question number 2. What steps would you take to help create a positive and supportive environment in the ELA department? There are many acceptable answers to this question, but here are just a few possible responses. Give your teachers a voice in the decision-making process. Giving teachers a voice helps them feel both valued and respected. Also, teachers feel that they are part of a team. Next up, set both individual and group goals for the department. Your teachers are going to have unique goals that they want to accomplish, while the department as a whole might have different goals. Encourage goal setting in both cases. Continuing, you want to immediately address negativity. If there is a staff member that is unhappy and bad-mouthing the department, immediately talk to that person and look for solutions. Negativity spreads very quickly. Fourth on the list, allow educators to take risks. Without allowing teachers to take risks, they will never grow. However, you must first establish trust with your teachers. Otherwise, they won't take risks. And lastly, and most importantly, make staff and student safety a top priority. If people do not feel safe, there is no possible way the environment will have a positive atmosphere. Here is a quick tip to take with you to the interview. Dress your best, dress for success. Always dress in clothes that make you feel confident about yourself. Interview question number 3. How do you plan to deliver instructional feedback to teachers? There are many acceptable answers to this question, but here are just a few possible responses. First off, collect observable data to show and analyze. Utilizing observable data takes away the subjectivity of an evaluation. You are essentially evaluating only what you saw. Second, provide feedback that is actionable for teachers. That means providing feedback in a way that teachers are able to make adjustments to their instruction and actually do something to make a change. Next up, provide feedback that is personalized. Focus your feedback only on the teacher you are meeting with and not teachers in general. Also, try and connect with the teacher when providing feedback. Fourth up, make feedback as specific as possible. Again, avoid giving general feedback in any way. Specifically, let teachers know what things they can change and specifically how to improve. And lastly, feedback should be both timely and ongoing. It's best to give feedback as soon as possible. As time goes on, you will forget. Also, don't just meet with the teachers once and forget. Feedback is a continuous process. And here's a quick tip to take with you to the interview. Take a deep breath before the interview. Remember, you don't want to appear too nervous. Interview question number 4. What are some reading-based intervention strategies you would like to see teachers utilize? There are many acceptable answers to this question, but here are just a few possible responses. One strategy is a whole language approach. Whole language approach does have some criticisms, but many teachers that I have met fully recognize it as a viable strategy for classroom instruction. Second, reading recovery for younger grade students. Reading recovery is an intervention-based strategy for illiterate kindergarten-age students, and the students get one-on-one time with teachers. Third up, the phonics approach to reading. In this reading intervention strategy, students learn to read with focus on hearing and identifying sounds within words in order to better comprehend. Next up on the list, the language experience approach. The language experience approach is best for at-risk students. It allows kids to learn reading and writing through their own personal stories and experiences. And lastly, you can take a look at a variety of commercial intervention strategies. There are many commercial reading intervention strategies out there, but you should be cautious before purchasing any of them. And here's a quick tip to take with you to the interview. Do research on the school. Always have a little bit of background knowledge on the school where you are applying to. Interview question number 5. How can you ensure ESL/ELL students will become successful learners of the English language? There are many acceptable answers to this question, but here are just a few possible responses. First off, give appropriate accommodations. ELL students are often forgotten about when compared to special education students. However, ELL students should receive appropriate accommodations. Second, assign student mentors for ELL students. Student mentors will help these students with learning and classroom procedures, but they can also help students fit in socially as well. Third one up, implement intervention tracking. Learning English as a second language is hard enough, so keep an eye on them with tracking. Number 4, involve the families of ESL/ELL students. Family support is always important for student success. And last on the list, have teachers practice better communication skills. Little things such as speaking slowly, avoiding idioms, making direct eye contact, speaking clearly, and many more can really help out these students. And here's a quick tip to take with you to the interview. Have a strong and firm handshake. Actually practice your handshake with a close friend or relative until you feel comfortable. Now, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to this channel, as I will be adding more supervisor questions as time goes on. Also, I will post a link in the description below with more questions in a document, and that will be added sometime very soon.